Most students who miss firsts aren't confused. They're not lazy and they don't misunderstand the content. They're writing paragraphs that are fine. They're correct. They are polite and dressed up all academically. They're completely disposable. If your essay has lost a paragraph and nothing really changes, well, that paragraph was never earning its place. That is the problem. So today I'm going to show you why paragraphs that do everything right, and now they sound fine, can still cap your mark, and what a first class paragraph actually does instead. Because after all, fine is not first class. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 things very deliberately. First, I'll clarify what a paragraph is for at university level, because most students are just aiming at the wrong target. Second, I'll show you a real paragraph that is technically correct and very well referenced and completely capped. Third, I'll show you a first class paragraph that uses exactly the same theory but with a very different level of control. And you'll see both versions on the screen line by line, not to copy the phrasing, but to copy the thinking. First, what a paragraph actually is. So a paragraph is not a container for everything you know about the topic, just there on the page. And it's not a box ticking exercise to keep markers all happy and calm. A paragraph is a small argument, and that doesn't mean it has to be dramatic or controversial. It means something is being claimed, not just explained. If I finish reading your paragraph and I think, yeah, that's true, but I don't really know what you're arguing with it or what your position is, that paragraph has just hit a ceiling. You know, it may be correct, it may be compliant, but it is capped. First class paragraphs don't just show knowledge, they show judgment. Where most people go wrong, most paragraphs I read do 3 extremely sensible things. They explain the theory, they add a citation, and then they end with something very agreeable but really, really vague. Nothing is wrong, nothing is risky, and nothing is happening. And markers don't penalise that per se, they just don't reward it. Because when markers are reading your work, they're not asking, is this accurate? Although they might be if it is just completely factually incorrect. They are asking silently, what are you doing with this? And if your answer is, well, I'm just showing you that I've read it, that's usually a 2-1 or less. But if the answer is, I'm using this to say something very specific, that's where firsts live. Here's the moment most people miss, is the point where you stop asking, is this correct? And start needing to ask, what is this paragraph actually doing? Because you can write 10 more paragraphs like this and your mark won't move, not because you need to do more reading, but because none of these paragraphs are doing any work. Let me show you exactly what this looks like. Here's a paragraph that sounds academic and reads smoothly and still doesn't earn its place. Cognitive load theory suggests that learning is constrained by the limited capacity of working memory, Sweller 1988. When instructional materials are overly complex, learners may experience cognitive overload, which can hinder learning outcomes. Research has shown that reducing extraneous cognitive load can improve comprehension and retention, Parser 2003. Therefore, instructional design should aim to minimize unnecessary information in order to support effective learning. Well, everything here is accurate. You could submit this. It wouldn't embarrass you. But if I deleted this paragraph, the essay would survive. And that tells us everything we need to know. Notice what is happening. The claim here is descriptive, not argumentative. Evidence is reported, not used. The conclusion is generic and safe, and there's no sense of context or limitation or implication. This paragraph never answers the marker's real question, which is, why are you telling me this here? The first class version has the same theory and the same core idea, but watch what changes. While cognitive load theory usefully highlights the limitations of working memory, Sweller 1988, its value lies less in the general warning against too much information and more in how it distinguishes types of load. Evidence suggests that reducing extraneous load can enhance learning outcomes, Parser 2003. However, this does not imply that instructional materials should be simplified indiscriminately. For novice learners, streamlined presentation may support schema acquisition, but for more advanced learners, excessive reduction risks limiting desirable difficulty and deeper processing. As such, cognitive load theory is most effective when applied flexibly, rather than as a blanket rationale for simplification. Okay, so this paragraph is not more intelligent, but it is more controlled. It's got parameters. It says, yes, this theory matters, but only like this and not like that. And you can apply that to any topic, any subject. So you don't have to be in this field to be able to apply that to your own work. Let's make it explicit what this paragraph does differently. Number one, it takes a position. Not CLT says X, but CLT is useful when applied in this particular way. Secondly, it uses evidence selectively, one citation doing real argumentative work. Third, it introduces judgment, novice versus advanced learners. So that's conditional use, it's just not, a universally applied claim. It ends with a conceptual payoff. So flexible application beats rule following. And that final sentence is doing a lot of lifting. It tells the marker, I'm not repeating theory, I'm using it to show you something. This is something I learned really early on during my degree at Cambridge, where the expectations around argument and selectivity are unusually high. There you weren't rewarded for knowing more, you were rewarded for choosing what you did know carefully. And the quiet rule of first-class writing that most students never get told, firsts come from constraint, not confidence. You don't need to sound smarter by saying more. You sound smarter by limiting your claim and defending it. And that's what markers trust. A paragraph that knows its limits feels deliberate. A paragraph that tries to cover everything just feels nervous. Here's a self-check you can steal. After writing a paragraph, ask yourself these questions. What claim am I making here? What am I ruling out? And where did I show judgment? And if you can't answer those, the paragraph isn't finished yet. It's not wrong, it's just not finished. So if your paragraphs feel correct but capped, remember it's not effort. It is structure you need to change. Most people don't need to learn more, they just need to use what they do know more deliberately. If this helped, subscribe for more academic writing tips and check out the other videos on my channel. Remember, you don't need to try harder, you just need a better edit.